I'm feeling cleaner than I ever would be. It's cooler than Antarctica's weather would be. Damn, I think my swagger is a weapon to me. And dudes don't count you off the record to me. So don't be stepping to me, trying to shake my hand. I'm already the man, ain't trying to make your band. I feel the fact that I'm real, just make them mad. I be smoking helium to inflate my swerve. I'm fact that I'm real, just make them mad. I be smoking helium to inflate my swerve. I'm fly, yes, I'm high, yes. Every lady wanna get to this guy, yes. Go out tonight, I just might, yes. Style cleaner than yours, so don't buy, yes. I'm so debonair, so debonair. 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 You're not really seeing me, dog. Real talk. You feeling whacker than you ever would be. In mind, you think you would.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Y'all, I know I told you guys earlier that I was going to be streaming on my vlog channel, but I decided to do it on both channels tonight. After this live is over, it will just be on my vlog channel, but I think it was best for me to do it on both channels. So like I told you guys earlier today, it is National Coming Out Month. And so I want to tell my coming out story. I think it is an interesting story to tell. And I want to encourage somebody who is struggling with this to, make the leap and do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So let's take care of the business of both of these channels. If you want to join my tribes, please stay by my side. Go ahead and subscribe to both channels. Turn on your notifications. Make sure you turn them on all so you're notified every time I go live. Like the video, share the video, comment in the comments to keep me in that motherfucking algorithm. Let's play the intro and then let's go.
I'm fly, yes, I'm high, yes. Every day wanna get to this guy, yes. Go out tonight, I just might, yes. Style cleaner than yours, so don't buy, yes. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair.
And I am back. I'm back, y'all. What is going on? What's going on? Let's say what's up to people in the shop. What's going on, Louise? What's going on the candy shop? My YouTube wife, Shay B. What's going on, Carol Chamberlain? So y'all, this is a very intimate time for me. I probably should do this like as a members only thing, but who cares? We're doing it. So as you guys know, like I said before, it is National Coming Out Month. And so I want to tell my coming out story. Hey, Miss C Platinum 2001. So I want to tell my story about coming out because I think it's a very interesting story. What's going on in the Vegas girl? So I want to give a backstory before I get into the real story because the stories is all stories and the stories is to be storying, okay? What's going on, Miss Ree? Hey, SoDeb and the tribe. Y'all subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, hit all, share, and don't forget to comment during the after the live. Thank you so much, Miss Ree. Shout out to my mods. So this is about me. So you know what I'm saying. So I want to give a backstory before I get into the story I'll be coming out. So for me, I've always felt like I was gay, right? I can go all back to elementary school where I knew that I thought boys' butts was attractive to me, which is weird because I don't even deal with boys' butts at this time. Yes, they're like, but hey, Cindy, what's going on? What's going on? So throughout my entire life, like I did struggle with my sexuality because I knew from the Bible, y'all know my mother's a pastor. So I struggled with it because I didn't know if it was okay for me to be gay. I've done a live before where I've talked about Faith Evans and Beyonce, how they've actually saved my life into me being who I am. One day I was sitting down watching The Fight of Temptations, and Faith Evans has a song called Heaven Only Knows. What's going on, James? What happened to you yesterday? I was waiting for you to come back. And then they have a song on the movie called he still loves me. So that gave me my first opportunity to kind of come out. But I didn't tell them that I was coming out. Oh, okay, your phone died. Okay, we was waiting to come back. Um, so fast forward, I get to my relationship with my ex, and one thing I've always told myself was, if I ever fall in love with a man, like that's gonna be my coming out day. And so just so happened, I fell in love with my ex husband. What's going on, Joshua? And I was like, so the next person who asked me, I told them I'm gay. You know what I'm saying? So it happened that way. So you guys have seen my Anna Lay, the girl I do my Saturday morning brunch crew whenever we get that together. Um, she was the first person who asked me about it. What's going on, just simply? She was the first person who asked me about it. And when she brought it to me, she was telling me that my friends, because I had a lot of straight friends at the time. Um, oh, thank you, Miss Reed, for streaming on both channels. I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, she was telling me that my friends have found out that they had some boy told them that I had gave him oral sex in the bathroom. Yes, fighting temptations, Joshua. And I'm like, I never did that. What the hell are they talking about? So the conversation that came up about me being gay at the time, I was doing radio, and it was with her and another guy's name is Ness Words. Rest in peace, Ness Words, because he passed away a few years ago. We were in a meeting for our radio show meeting, and she was like, "Man, I gotta talk about something." I talked about something. I'm like, "What? What's going on, BJ Dez?" And yes, guys, you can support my channel by these ways. So she's like, "I gotta talk to you. I gotta talk about something." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Well, I don't want to say it in here because I don't want to put you out there in case it's not true. Whatever, whatever, whatever." So after the meeting, we went to her car. I'll never forget the car because there was a oh man, now I forgot the name of it. It's a Mustang. It was a brown Mustang. What's going on, Tony? Ain't seen you here in a while. What's going on, sir? So it was a brown Mustang. We went to the car, and she was like, "Yo, I gotta ask you something, but I don't know if it's gonna be offensive to you." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I don't want to change our relationship or whatever." I'm like, "It's not gonna change. Tell me what you're talking about. What's going on, Dina?" She was finally like, so I was sitting with your friend. I'm gonna call him Jason. And Jason had a best friend. His name was, I'm gonna call him Ron. So Jason and Ron, they're like best friends. And then my cousin are friends with all these people. So I met them through my cousin. So Jason and Ron was having a conversation about me because they was working at Walmart with this person. Oh, thank you, Shabby, for the super sticker. That means a lot to me. Thank you. They were having a conversation for this gay guy who said that I had oral sex with him in the bathroom at a club. And I'm like, this is a straight club. Why would I even do that? Why would I do that? Oh, thank you, Nola Reeds. And so she was like, he was like, well, we're just telling you what they told you. Like, are you gay? And I'm like, I made this choice. They were the hardest people for me to tell this to. And so I was like, I mean, I am. So I told my homegirl, I told them. Now, when I told my homegirl, Monalay, she was like, well, I don't really give a damn about it. I didn't even know. We used to go to, me and her used to karaoke on Sunday nights at a gay bar. I never knew it was a gay bar. And actually, like, it was a club that was there. And so you hit, like, it was like a little bar looking area in the front. And then in the back, it was like an actual club. But if you didn't know that the club wasn't back there, you never knew. So, but it was right by the bathrooms. So, LOL, it took you a second to think. I know. They rhyme with the real names too, by the way. So I ended up going into it. I was like, oh man, like this is a whole gay experience. And I used to love going there after those Sundays because I'm like, I get to experience this during karaoke because it takes some time to call your name or whatever. She was always like interacting with the people, so she never really knew what I was doing either. And I don't think that she knew that the club was back there either. So that happened. That was like my first like coming out for real, but it was with my friends. It wasn't with my family. And so a few years after that, I joined this play called Two Scoops. And my role was kind of something that I needed because it was almost like I could talk to my dad through the role that I had. It was basically about the story was about this man who adopted these kids because he felt bad for kids that was in um, foster care. And so he adopted a bunch of kids, but he also had his own son. And so my role was the son, his actual son. And the son unloaded on the father in this play about how he felt like he was left out and how he didn't feel like he was wanted because of the foster kids. But the stuff that he was saying was stuff that I think I didn't say to my dad at the time. Well, in the midst of this, a little bit before I had joined the play, my ex-husband had came to my job because I was working at the broadcasting school. The school that don't really mean nothing. And he was asking about filming for a reality show. He was doing a pilot for a reality show. And I was like, oh, he's really attractive or whatever. But we never really talked. He actually was there with his boyfriend at the time. So he walked through the front. I walked through the back. I watched him walk away. He never turned around. So I was like, oh, he must not really like me, whatever. Boom. So during the play, he was doing award shows where he honored my mother. And I think the award show and my play was on the same day. So my mom had no, it was actually a little before that. I think I had rehearsals on the day of the award show. And it was like the last week, so we had to be at all the rehearsals. And my mom spoke very highly of him, and it was really like, oh, maybe I need to talk to him. So I was on Facebook talking to this guy that I had messed around with a little bit. And my ex's picture came up, and I was like, oh, yeah, my mom had told me that he's not gay anymore. He was delivered, whatever. So I was like, I don't want to really, get involved with it. And the guy was like, he's not gay. I literally just masturbated with him the other day. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I inboxed him, right? And so that's how me and him had met. We kind of started talking or whatever. And I met him. Me and him had linked up after my radio show on a Thursday. I moved in with him on a Sunday. We actually we drove to Florida on a Sunday. So I probably moved in like on Monday because we got back on that Monday. So we had got into a relationship or whatever. We ended up moving to Atlanta because one of my other best friends, she was a flight attendant. And we helped her move out of her apartment, and she gave us some buddy passes, and she paid the little price, whatever it was for that, for us to fly to Atlanta. We ended up getting stuck in Atlanta and ended up getting into a relationship. And so I was like, oh shit, I made this agreement with myself that if I get into a relationship with a man, I'm gonna tell people. And so this is literally, I'm telling the story like out of order. But so after that, when my aunt had asked me, we had been together, so I told her. So we had ended up moving to Atlanta together. Because every time we were trying to leave Atlanta, the weather was like terrible. And I've never even seen snow in Atlanta like I've seen it during this time. And so we ended up moving because he was like, is this a sign we should move to Atlanta? I had no desire to move to Atlanta. I hated Atlanta at the time. But I was like, maybe this is a sign that we should move here. And so I think in the midst of that, he had proposed to me. And it was at the Cheesecake Bistro here in Atlanta, in Atlantic Station. So I was like, oh man, I really got to start, like, if people ask me about that, I have to tell them. So we had went to the park at Piedmont Park here in Atlanta. And at the time, I think I had changed phone plans. And instead of having an iPhone, I had a BlackBerry. I didn't know how to use the shit at all. And so I was trying to text him a picture I posted of him because he was laying at the park on a blanket at the picnic that we was having with our friends or whatever. And I text him, you look like my husband. And instead of texting him, I posted it on Facebook, y'all. And I didn't know how to take it down. So I went on Facebook, tried to take it down. And I thought I had deleted it, but I didn't. And so I'm thinking I'm cool. The picture's gone. Nobody's seen it. It was like up and then it was down. But my ex-girlfriend had seen the picture. So she never called me at the time. And again, I had not talked to them about me being gay or anything like this. So she called my mom. And she lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. My mom lived in Columbus. So she called my mom. Um, I used to have a BlackBerry. I hated the BlackBerry. I hated it. The only reason why I was even okay with it was because I think Beyonce had a BlackBerry at the time. But my ex-girlfriend called my mom. She drove from Cincinnati to to Columbus, and they cried together about it. Now, my mom had not called me at the time, y'all. So I'm still thinking like nobody knows that I posted this. So 3 days later, my mom calls me. She's like, do you want to tell me something? And I was like, no, what do I need to tell you? I'm not even thinking about this post at this point anymore. Hey, what's going on, Cha Cha? I'm not even thinking about this post anymore. So she was like, well, I'm gonna call her Alicia. Alicia had drove here and talked to me about your post on Facebook. And I was like, why would she do that? I haven't even talked to her. But she was like, so I mean, are you gay? And I was like, well, and I'm like circulating what I told myself in my mind, like, I have to tell her. So I was like, yes. My mom was pissed. And I won't even tell you what she said because we have a really great relationship now, and I don't want to put that back out in the atmosphere. I think I've said it on the live before, but I don't want to do it on this one because we've made, like, me and mom are really good now. My mom was pissed off. I was like, I know that I'm my mom's favorite, so she's going to get over this, right? So, and rewinding. So I was in Atlanta when this happened. So I told my ex, I was like, yo, I got to go home because I want to have this conversation with my mom face to face. And so I called my aunts, my mom's twin sister and her youngest sister, and I dropped the ball on them first. And they was like, okay, like it was normal to them. They didn't even really care. I was like, but I got to come home and tell my mom. So I need y'all to be here and for moral support when I go to tell her this, because I already know how this is going to go. And I just want her to like have somebody around. What's going on, Prosperity Thick Girl? So me and my ex, we drove from Atlanta. It was 9 hours away. We drove to Ohio, Columbus. And so we get here, right? So at the time, my mom thought that I don't know if she thought this for real, but I'm just gonna tell you what was happening. She was trying to hook my ex up with my sister, and she's trying to get me and my ex back together. So she set up this double date for us to go on. And it was the weirdest thing. Like, it was so weird because I'm like, my man is over here with my sister. Like, I don't know. This is awkward. And so we went along with it or whatever. And at the time, my ex, like, she would buy me whatever I wanted, like anything. It didn't matter if I wanted it, she was going to buy it for me. And I remember we went into Old Navy, and she was like, I'm not buying you nothing from here. And I was like, oh, she's really over me for real, so I can be like over her for real. And then while we were together, like, I never dealt with guys at all, nothing like that. So we get to the point where we're with my mom and my aunts and my sister. And my aunts asked my sister, it was like, well, did you think that his ex liked you? And my sister was like, no, I always thought he was like me. I was like, oh, thank God she knew, wasn't crazy. I've lived in the day. I went to college. I went to Wright State. I used to party at Wilberforce and Central State all the time. So then it was like, so you and Alicia over? And I was like, yeah, we've been over. We haven't been dating for like 2 years. So my mom was like, okay, I got this. I guess there was this guy that went to her church or was affiliated with the church that she had went to. He had been delivered, y'all. And so I'm like, you know what? If this man tells me something that makes sense, I will fight the battle. You know what I'm saying? I will fight the battle of my sexuality, and I'm going to just not go along with this. I will break up with this guy or whatever. So I went and met with the guy, and he was like, we all have our own personal struggles. God gives us all our own struggles. And he was married to this lady. They had children together. And I was like, so you don't like feel bad? Like you don't fight these urges or nothing like that? He was like, well, yeah, but that's a part of, the struggle that God has given me. And I'm like, so you think that God wants you to struggle for the rest of your life? That didn't like it didn't resonate with me at all. I was just like, I ain't doing that. And the more he talked, the more confused I got. And shout out to that man. I don't know him personally. I did hear about him going back to being gay after I met with him. Um, we had a really long conversation. And the more that he talked, the more I knew I was gay. And I didn't want to fight it anymore. I felt like I wasn't happy as a human, like living my life. I was in college and, I was doing all the things I was supposed to do. I had a good GPA in college. I had I had an ex-girlfriend who I thought maybe would work out later on. I was really like in the fight, you know what I'm saying? But when me and him met, I just realized like the capacity of love that I have for him was very different than the capacity of love I have for my ex-girlfriend. And I was like, to me, that's still the deal for me. Um, and I wanted my family to like enjoy my life, the real me. So after meeting with the guy, I think the last thing that he said was, if you ever want to talk, call me. And I was like, boy, you are gay. So I told him, like, listen, and I said that part in my head, but I was like, if you ever need to talk, call me, okay? Because clearly somebody needs to talk to somebody, and I don't think it's me talking to you. Ms. Reese said he lived in his truth, not went back to being gay. He did. So I went back home after that conversation, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel any different. Like, I want to go home to my man. And so I did, that's what happened. That started my transition from living a hidden life to a fully out life with my partner. I didn't even know what that looked like for me. Because I know when the day that I had met him, he asked me about being his boyfriend. I was like, I don't know shit about being nobody's boyfriend, no, a man's boyfriend. What does that look like? And I remember, I think our AC went off in our house. And so I was staying at my mom's house at the time. Me, my sister, my mom, we was sleeping in the living room. And I was laying on the couch thinking like, man, I think I could be this man's boyfriend. And I texted him. I was like, what does that look like? And so I think that was the Friday. No, that was that Thursday night. That was Thursday night. So we talked all day Friday. He asked me to go to Florida with him on Sunday. And at the time he had a church. He was a pastor for an affirming church. And I spent the night with him Saturday night. And I guess the people could hear somebody in the building could hear me walking around or watching TV upstairs in his house. And they asked me, I was like, who's upstairs? And I will never forget this because he came upstairs and he kissed me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gay. Like, I'm gay for real. I thought it was the cutest thing. Like, he just came upstairs to kiss me. And he was like, I'm about to end the service and then we can go, do what we got to do to get ready for tomorrow for this trip. From then on, like, I never looked back on my life as hiding my sexuality. I will say that watching that Fighting Temptations movie made me look myself in the mirror, literally. And I had to tell myself, like, you are gay. You're gay. It was hard to say. And I think that I lived my life so much for everyone else at the time that actually telling myself, Joshua says, was this an open marriage? When we first got married, no. But towards the end, yes. Maybe I'll do a story time about that later on just on my vlog channel because I want to do it on the channel. But I think that telling myself that in the mirror prepared me for the disappointment that I was going to get. I lost all my friends at that time. I had a lot of heterosexual black male friends. My homegirls they was like, well, we knew you was gay. Go figure. But my friend group that hung around, I think that was the most depressing part for me is that I lost a lot of friendships. I know a lot of people were like, but they weren't really your friends. What's going on, Sassy Peach? They're like, they weren't really your friends, but you can't really tell me that at that time because I lived with them, some of them. Like we lived together, we went to college together, and losing those friendships was hard for me because I'm like, I don't even know no gay people for real like that. Um, they wasn't really there for you, right? That's what everybody said that, but it didn't feel that way to me. It was like, man, like I was trying to talk my way back into these friendships. And I want to say to anybody who is struggling with coming out, the biggest thing that you think about is losing your friends and your family. And I felt for a moment that I lost both things at that time because my mom wasn't really happy with me telling me that. I think the best part about it was my dad. Like, he was like, "You're my son and I love you." We didn't have the best relationship when I was growing up. So to hear him say that, and my sister be like, "Well, I mean, you're my brother. You got nephews. You got, children want to be man. A man." Period. It was like they were okay with it. And my mom, it was hard because I was like, that's like she's my best friend on this earth. And even though I knew that she's going to get over it, those 3 days were hell for me. So I just think, the reason for having this day is to tell anybody who is thinking about coming out, like, sometimes it is bad. It doesn't work out that well at the beginning. But if people really love you, they're going to be there for you regardless. And you got to get people sometimes to process this because we've been taught as Black people, this is wrong. And you are jeopardizing your everlasting life with Jesus or whatever religion that you believe in. You're risking that. But sometimes you get into a space where you got to live for you. And it was the best day of my life. Like, I would never take back the day that I stood up for myself. I was bullied a lot in school because growing up, I was extremely feminine. And I was called the F word all the time. I knew I had attraction to guys, but I knew it was wrong. But I couldn't help the feelings that I had. BJ Des says, "I appreciate you telling your story. Thank you so much, SoDeb. Thank you for even listening." And, I like telling this story because it helps somebody sometimes. Miss Reese said, "Yes, SoDeb, you're speaking facts." Yeah, like, living for you, it takes a strong person. And sometimes you feel like you might be a weak person, but just telling your own story, it gives you the strength that you never thought that you ever really had. My coming out story wasn't really that bad for real. And even if it was, I was determined to be me, regardless to whatever anybody thought. Hearing that, to me, I feel like I helped that boy that was at my mom's church that day, because I'm like, ain't no way God put me on this earth to suffer. Period. This ain't no sickness. This is like my life. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes you guys will hear people when it comes down to being in the community, there was like a lifestyle. Being gay or a part of the LGBTQIS plus community is not a lifestyle because you can't change that. That's who you are. It defines a part of you. People have the conversations like, were you Black first or were you gay first? I was the same thing at the same damn time. People don't understand that when you say that, but I mean, you're born with your sexuality. If I knew in kindergarten I like boys, I was born with that. You know what I'm saying? Just like I was born with this black skin. And it looks amazing. I love my skin like I love my sexuality. And sometimes you have to just choose you first. You got to choose you first. And sometimes people don't understand that because they want you to choose their way of what looks like is right. But all the time, everybody's way for your life ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Coming out was the best thing I've ever done for myself. I used to feel like I was a disgusting person. Miss Reese says, "I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person." I think I'm a spiritual person too. And God doesn't make mistakes. I feel the same way, period. Like, can't nobody tell me no different than that. I remember feeling disgusting because I'm like, well, somebody took advantage of me as a kid who wasn't a man, so people are going to look at it like that. But the reality was, I felt this way before this happened to me. And so now this is going to be like a crutch that I have to overcome every time I talk about this. And I didn't want that. So I never told people that story, on top of the fact that I was told that, I would be taken away from my mother. Sometimes The honest truth is sometimes coming out will destroy you. That's the truth, you know. But it will destroy the old you, and then you will start to become the real you. And living the real you life is way better than that life that you're hiding for, because it's torture. It doesn't feel good because you wake up days and you're thinking about unaliving yourself sometimes. You're thinking about hurting yourself sometimes. You're thinking all these bad things about you because you've been told all these bad things about your sexuality. In reality, nobody is the judge of you besides God. Okay. Joshua says, pastors say it's a demon in gay men that makes them gay. First of all, I don't subscribe to pastors who teach Big Mama and them scriptures and religion, because Big Mama and them thought some shit that didn't really make no damn sense. That's why we have to say, you think fat meat is greasy. Okay? That don't make no damn sense. But I can't subscribe to a church anymore because of that, because I just know what the church believe, whether they tolerate you or not. Even with the affirming churches, like I have been to those, but it's still something there about that religion that teaches you that you are not supposed to be here, or you're not supposed to live your life the right way. People pick scriptures to make their wrongs right in life, but the reality is the same scriptures that are in there about homosexuality, which are not about homosexuality, because to be honest, I've seen different posts. I know what I learned from the Hebrew Bible, that the word abomination did not mean that you're damned to hell. It meant something of a certain culture. And at the time, Sodom and Gomorrah was an abomination for them, because they were trying to build an army to fight over the people that were trying to take over their city, you know. But that's stuff that you do. That's the research that you do for your own self. I remember going to Pride 2 years ago. There was a mother there. It was her first Pride, and we had the conversation about the word abomination. We looked it up together. I showed her what it meant in the Hebrew slang, and she just cried. But it's like, you know, I feel like it was my job on that day to free somebody, and it made her look at her child a different way. I thought it was bold and big of her to even come to a Pride to get educated on what it is to be a homosexual, you know. Um, Life ain't fair for everybody, you know, and that doesn't dictate the Bible or, you know, your own life. It depends on who you have around you and what they believe in. To me, what the Bible stands for is unconditional love. That's why I don't have no issues with nobody, and I try all the time with people, because to me, I want to go, when I die, I want to leave this earth thinking that God knows that I left this earth with unconditional love. Miss Bree said, "Oh, so that preacher tonight." I'm trying, girl. Okay, put my gay on real quick. Not this laugh, but I want to leave this earth knowing that I unconditionally loved everybody that was here, who I came across. I want people to say that, yo, so Deb was a good person. I loved him. He was there for me on this time. He might not have been able to be like what I needed, but he was there for this part of my life. And I think that's what all of our life should be about. It's not about trashing people on the internet. It's not about trashing people on their real life. It's not about discriminating against people because they don't live the same life that you live. It's challenging yourself to love somebody outside of what you think you can. It's the greatest gift that God has given all of us. And I'm going to do it every single time. I try to love everybody, period. I don't care what you have done to me. I don't care what the stuff that you said about me. I'm going to unconditionally love everybody, period. Okay. What's going on, Pam? She said, love your neighbors as you love yourself. Exactly. This is what I have learned in my church. And I'm glad that that's what your church is teaching, because that's what Jesus died for. People take everything literally. They have all these conspiracy theories about the Bible and everything else, but nobody will listen to the fact that Jesus came, if you believe in him, that he sealed the doors of hell, right? And he died for your sins. If he died for your sins, then, you know, that's everybody's sins. He didn't say besides these sins. So then why are we sitting around worrying about us being imperfect people? For what? He died for that, right? If that's what you believe in, that's where your spirituality kicks in. For me, when I want to have a spiritual moment, I do worship music because going through my coming out phase, worship music was my savior, and it started with that song from the Fighting Temptations. Um, he still loves me. Prosperity said, "F those friends you got." Right. I met so many good people since then, so I don't worry about that no more. BJ Dad says, "So Deb, honestly, I don't have any preference on the sex of the person when it comes to my relationships. Wow, if I love that person and they make me happy, that is most important to me. I think that me too, but I hope I want to be with a man though. But that's different though. That's the part of the LGBTQIS plus community. There are people who love like that. For me, I had three girlfriends, and I did love them, but what I went through with my ex-husband, I would have never went through that with him. I would have been out a long time ago, which I did every time. So, Shapey said, "Amen." Exactly. What I went through with them, I would have never traveled that road with them because I didn't have the love that I had for him. And that's because that's what's in me. That's the way that God made me. So I chose to come out on purpose. It was the best decision that I made, like I said. And I encourage anybody who listens to this story for your own self, for your own personal sanity, don't torture yourself with this. You may lose all the people that's in your life, but you're going to gain so much more being who you are, loving yourself. What you said, BJ, that so Dad can't look at Coach, so he needs to sit with the man. Right, okay. Shout out to Lisa, lovable Lisa, because she tried to show me some the other day, y'all. Oh God. Becoming who you are, it's a power move for you. My ex used to say something that I live by, which is make peace with the worst case scenario. And in that moment, I did. I love my family, but if they wouldn't accept me for who I am, I would have to come to the realization that they probably don't just love me. Luckily, that did not happen. And we're in 2022. Things are changing. You don't have to be on the DL anymore. You can come out. And again, if your friends and family leave you, there's a group of people that's waiting to be your friend and create families. I'm telling you, I live in Atlanta. Princess can tell you because she's been here with my friends. My friends are my family that live here. My family lives in Ohio. They're still my family, and I love them. But I also have another family that I built who are here. We're all on our own in a space where we don't have our like blood family, but we have our made up family that we have here. We spend holidays together. We love each other. We going through stuff. We're there. We support each other. So you have something to look forward to if you lose all that. And in no way, shape, or form, I'm trying to force anybody to come out. But I'm just saying, I'm going to give you an example of what it looks like on the other side if you decide to do that. Okay? It's real. What's going on, DT? Hey, SoDebNair and Tribe, let's go. Time to celebrate our authenticity. Yeah, I said it right. And who we are as human beings. Don't forget to like this video as you walk on in, and we love you too. I love y'all for real, okay, like Monique said. But today, I think the message is live in your truth. Live in your truth. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Some people choose on this very day to come out. If you did, I celebrate you. I celebrate you coming out and being who you are and choosing you first. Because we don't do that all the time. We don't choose ourselves first. We live a life of misery. And it's not until that moment where you decide, I'm gonna be who I am, I'm gonna be who God made me to be. It changes your life for real. You might go through a little bad time at the beginning. But when you are able to be who you are as an individual, it is one of the best things that you could possibly do for yourself. Choose you first, okay? I think that's it. I think I've told this story so many times. I think I ain't no details I left out. I thank y'all for joining me on this live, y'all. It means a lot. Shout out to DT for being a member of the channel for 13 months. Um, we going over to I think Nola's channel in like 19 minutes. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to come up and talk about their coming out stories or supporting anybody else that want to have a message for someone who wants to come out. Please log on. Let's talk about it. Let's encourage somebody who is struggling with this. DT said, I have a coming out story. I came out 3 times to my family. Twice were disappointing, and the final time my family finally accepted me. But it took a billion times to get them to that point. Oh, Princess Channel. Princess Channel, I'm sorry. Miss Free said, I'm just glad you guys can speak and live your truth. I know my brother is looking down, smiling because he didn't the same. There are so many people who came out. Joshua, why are you asking me that? Why? I identify as me. Okay. Yes, y'all. We going to Princess's channel after this. So there you go. Why better give a whole word tonight, little bruh? Oh, you better give a whole word tonight, bro. I got you. BJ, I didn't know you dipped in the lady. My daughter was afraid to tell me. See, I'm saying, I think that leaving these little informational spaces is important. Because sometimes you may log onto a YouTube and see this video. Share this video, y'all, for real. If y'all share nothing else on this channel, share this. Because it helps somebody. It's not always bad at the end of the road. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is on my channel, ain't nothing over here but women. The gays don't even over here. So the women still love me. Joshua says, because I heard you say that before. But if you heard me say it, why you asking? Don't be spilling my tea. Cindy C says, I support and honor everyone brave enough to live their truth. Cheers to you all. Thank you so much for that, Cindy. DT said, please, if you plan to come out, make sure you have support. Yep, DT, thank you for this. You have support people around you, especially if they are family. I have my sister who supported me throughout my coming out journey. So I am thankful for her. BJ Dance is a whole vibe. Yes. What's going on?
Nothing, bro. I just wanted to get up here um from the parent perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So when my daughter told me that she was pansexual, it took her 2 days
Mm-hmm.
to come out and tell me. She first day she told me, "Hey, mom, somebody like me," and I was just like, "Oh, for real? They cute? Cause I know you cute, so they cute. What they look like? Do you like them?" And she didn't really, want to answer the question.
Thanks, girl.
So I was like, okay, so I knew something then. I support your lifestyle. Don't
Oh, no,
support.
no, please hold on real quick. Because Mills, get out this damn chat. Talk about I support your lifestyle. First of all, we just talked about this is not a lifestyle. This is my life. I don't support your support for Evelyn Lozada and Giselle. I don't even support Giselle. But go ahead, no.
So I was like, so, what's their name? What's the boy name? And she kind of looked. I said, well, it's a girl. And she was like, yeah. And so I said, well, do you like her? And she kind of gave me a look. And she was like, well, I like her, but I don't like her like that. And I said, well, if you don't like her like that, just tell her, hey, I don't like you like that, but we can be friends. Well, the next day I went to pick her up and she's like, oh, the girl asked me to be, her girlfriend. And I said, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, that's it? And I was like, well, yeah, what did you expect? And she was like, well, I thought you was going to be mad at me or disappointed. I said, mad at you or disappointed for what? No matter what, you are my child. I love you. I'm going to act a fool if they treat you bad, whether it's a girlfriend or a boyfriend. So I suggest whoever they are, they treat you right or they gonna have to deal with me. And so I would just say I don't understand parents who don't support their kids because regardless of what um your child is your child and love your child regardless. It may not be the life that you had planned for them. But at the end of the day, they have to walk in their truth. And when you say to your child, I don't love you or I don't accept you because of this, your love then becomes conditional.
Right.
As a parent, you should love your child no matter what. Even if my child was somebody who unalived somebody, I wouldn't like their actions, but I would still love them. Although there's no comparison between the two.
Right.
And no matter what, always be open and create the space for your children to come tell you and love them regardless, regardless of whether you like it or not. And if you have questions, it's okay to have questions. If you don't understand, it's okay to understand because when she told me that, I had never heard pansexual. So I was like, what exactly is pansexual? And then, then I had to ask her, okay, well, what are your pronouns? Or, are you still my daughter or are you my son? Or she's like, no, mom, I'm not transgender. And I'm like, well, I'm like, I'm not saying that you are, but I need to know, where exactly you are. So
Right.
'cause I don't want to say the wrong thing. So it's okay to ask questions. Don't
Right.
be rude when you ask questions, but ask those questions so you can understand where your child is in their process. And I don't know, I would fight the world for whoever feels like because this is your life and this is what you feel. Um, they have a
And a real question is, are you the man or are you the woman in the relationship, to the gays or to the lesbians too? Like, I'm like, what who, it's two men, it's two women. Like, what do you mean?
right. I will, I told her, and if they feel some type of way and don't want to fool with you, guess what? They no longer fool with me.
Right.
You are part of me. So I would say love your kids. And this thing dance card is way more fuller than mine. She got a She got a girlfriend. She had a boyfriend. They broke up. Now the ex-boyfriend want her back because she's saying nobody like her. And the best friend is in love with her. I'm
Mm.
like, you got way more going on than me at this, regardless of wherever she is. Long as they treat her right,
That's all that
I'm a,
matters.
but that's all I gotta see.
Okay. I appreciate you for coming up and talking about that. And it's good to hear from a mother's perspective and then hear from somebody who actually came out, because it does help people to understand that. Now, I want to get into this mess really quick, y'all. Hold on. I seem like the Giselle supporting type. That's your friend Busy. That's not me. Um, and yes, I do support the boss, Mia. And DT said, make it make sense. He supports me and Edwards James, almost pufferfish store and not Giselle. Another reason I love your words today. Not every parent has that sense of understanding for their children like you do. So I'm thankful for your love for your daughter. Yes, absolutely. And that makes a big difference when it comes down to it for parents. I definitely want to make sure that this video stays up, because I want people to come on. Maybe they're looking for someone to tell their coming out story. Mine was, for me, it was easy for me because I knew I made the decision for myself. If I fell in love with a man, I was telling it. I'm gay. I'm in a relationship with a man. I'm going to be honest about it. Everybody does not have that strength to do that, but this is a way for you to, if you want to. And sometimes, what's going on, Jenny Holiday? Sometimes you have to talk yourself into it, like I did. I talked to myself in the mirror. You're gay. Like, I had to tell myself, like, I be honest with myself. So I had to say it to me so that I understood who I was, and I said, and it's okay, you know. I was like Candace with the sticky notes. You are gay. 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 Uh, no, but real talk, I really did stand in the mirror and talk to myself because I needed to be honest with myself. Yes, meals is a mess tonight, just like any other day. You can take a horse you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't take what is it? You can take a girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. There you go. Or you can take a horse to water, but you can make him drink. I totally understand that it took me a long time for me to admit that I'm attracted to women. I told myself that I was just experimenting. Yeah. Yep. I never told myself I was experimenting. I was like, when I was able to, why did I? trying to think. Oh, you know what, y'all? So when my friends came to me about it, I started going to gay clubs. That's what it was. I missed the whole part. My Adelaide, the girl I did the Saturday morning brunch crew with, whenever we do it again, her and a few of the other girls that was doing my radio show with me at the time. Well, they was kind of working the behind the scenes for the radio show. They took me to my first gay club, y'all, and I was so scared. I was like, well, I'm just here with them. So if anybody asks, I'm just be like, I'm just here with them. But I was afraid, like I didn't know what to do. I think I came out like a few times. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Dad?
What's going on?
Yeah, just here to support your platform. Um,
Appreciate
yeah, I seen what made me call in was I seen a story a couple months ago. I think it was a couple months ago, where it was a brother that was, um, apparently he was gay,
it. Hmm.
and his father was throwing him out. He had paid like half the bills, and he had went live while his father was, you know, gathering up his belongings and telling him to get out, and all because I guess he didn't like his friends or the friends that he was, the company he was keeping.
Hmm.
So I just want to say I think it's cool that people support your people no matter what they
Right.
into. You got to love them, and you got to respect whatever choice they want to make.
Right.
You can't pick no one's friends,
Right.
and you can't live no one's life.
Right.
So if you don't agree with someone's lifestyle, then that's on you. But that doesn't
We,
give
we, we,
you
we're not using the word lifestyle. Somebody's life.
okay somebody's life. You
Hmm.
can't, you know, pass judgment on that because you're not God and you can't judge anyone. So
Right.
that's all I wanted to say. That story I just saw that story reminded me of that story of how mean and cruel people can be. So
Right.
it's just about loving your people, no matter who they are, and support them. That's all it is.
That's all it is. I appreciate you for coming up here.
No doubt. I'm gonna continue to support you, so Dad.
I appreciate it.
All right, bro. Peace.
Bye. So yeah, y'all. Like James said, and like we've been saying, um, just support the people, y'all. Just support the people who are coming out. If you're afraid to come out, um, you know, y'all can contact me. I'm gonna be honest when it comes to this. Inbox me, talk to me about it. I know that somebody that's in. I need to respond to a damn inbox, and I just not thought about it until we talking about this. Because there's a conversation that we have to have. What's going on, Princess? Um, I need to have a conversation. Finish having a conversation with somebody who's in this chat about something we talked about. Because it's another story like this that needs to be talked about. Y'all, if y'all have not already, Princess, drop your link in the chat for me, please. Um, if y'all haven't already subscribed to the House of the Princess, please go ahead and do that. We got about 5 minutes, but they'll head over that way. I thank you guys for joining me for this hour of my coming out story. Hopefully, I ain't got to tell the story again because I've told it so many damn times. But I hope that it helped somebody. I hope that Nola calling in from the mother's perspective. Hope that when James called in from his perspective, that it does help someone come out and live their real life. Um, I know you've been here all night. When you about to go live in like 5 minutes? I hope that this live has helped somebody to just think about being who they are. Here you go. Go ahead and over subscribe to this. In 5 minutes, we're going over to the House of the Princess. We're going to have a good kiki and a good time. My sis is about to tear it down on the internet, of the YouTube, on the streets. So please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done that. Matter of fact, let me pin this. All right, there we go. Miss Reese said, my brother died from AIDS and would have turned 60 this year. I'm 50 and always loved and accepted him, but some family members shunned my brother back. Oh, is it the wrong one? Is that the right one? See, you posted it twice. I don't see it on here. Okay, hopefully that one's the right one. I wonder if he would be different. It would be different for him now. I hope so. I hope so. Through this as a mother, I understand that it may be hard for you to accept who your child is, but you have to love them and keep supporting them. I lost a son. Oh my, yes. Lost a son because he was afraid to be who he was. Man, I hate that story. Thank you all for coming tonight. We love you all for coming in and sharing your stories. Don't forget that there's so many support services to help you. Remember, if nobody loves you, I do. And I know that's DT saying that, but me too. Mim says, so am I no longer allowed to call Rob Dixon the man in her relationship with Giselle? Is that not correct terminology? Whatever her pronouns is, you got to go by those. And BJ says, I'm sorry, Miss Rudy. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that too as well. I know you've told me that already before. And BJ did tell me this story too. Y'all, I'm gonna log off because we only got 3 more minutes. We're going over to the House of the Princess. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this. I know everybody don't want to hear this story, but I'm glad that you guys were able to be here for this and get something that you might have not known, or maybe you did know, or maybe you just wanted to hear the story again. I don't know. But thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys over at the House of the Princess. And I'll probably be back live again tomorrow, y'all. I'm out. Bye.
Did it, I 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 did it, did it, you did it, I did it, you did it, did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it.